Hello everyone, it's teacher Nina here, and today we will continue learning Science Year 3. And we are going to learn a new topic today. I'm so excited because this is my favorite topic, which is the solar system. Now I want you to get your textbook ready and open to page 115. Ready? Great! Now let's start. Okay, this is page 115. Before we continue, allow me to share with you all the subtopics that you will learn, okay, about the solar system. Today we will concentrate only on the first one, okay, don't worry about it. Members of the solar system. And then you will also learn about the temperature of the planets, orbit of planets, and the revolution time of the planets. Okay? So let's get back to page 115. Now look at this stimulus. Wow, can you see these people down here? Do you know where they are? Langi and his family are watching a presentation at the National Planetarium Space Theatre. Oh, they are actually in the National Planetarium. Okay, but all of them are looking up. Do you know why? Yes, if you have been to the National Planetarium Space Theatre, the screen is actually different. It's not in the front. It's actually above, like a dome there. Okay, so everyone needs to look up. They need to sit back and tilt their head up and look up to watch what they are screening. So the question is, what is shown on the theater screen? So these things here, what is this? Do you know what this is? Of course, it's the solar system. Now let's turn the page, shall we? These are pages 116 and 117. And this is a picture of the solar system. And now we are going to learn about them. Okay? Who are the members of the solar system? Wait, what is the solar system? Okay, the solar system is made up of the sun, planets, natural satellites, asteroids, meteoroids, and comets. Let us get to know our solar system. Okay, so first of all, do you know solar means the sun? Yes, solar means the sun. So this giant thing right in the middle here, this is the sun. So we call this whole thing here as the solar system because the sun is at the center. So this whole thing here, we call it the solar system. It is stated here. The sun, which is the center of the solar system, is surrounded by other members of the solar system. So the solar system means that the sun is right at the center and the other members are surrounding it. Okay? So the question comes here. Where is the position of the sun in the solar system? Again, it is at the center of the solar system. Okay, now, if you look at the labels here, you would notice something. Some of the labels, some of the words are starts with capital letters. For example, sun, Mercury, Earth. Okay, but some are not. For example, comet, asteroid, meteoroid. Okay, so why are these words written differently? Okay, don't worry about it. Let's start. Okay, why? The first one is the sun here. Okay, we call it the sun. Okay, usually when we mention the sun, we need to use the in front of sun. Okay, the sun. So for science, you need to write sun with the capital S. Okay, just like here, up here you can see the sun. Okay, the sun. Okay, because sun is, what do you call it, is a proper noun. So the sun. Okay, now next to the sun, really near to the sun, can you see? The first thing here, the first object here is Mercury. Mercury is actually a planet. What is a planet? How do you define a planet? A planet is a round object that surrounds the sun. Okay, that revolves around the sun. So later in this topic, you will learn some of the terms, for example, like what I've just mentioned just now, revolves. Okay, revolves. So you will learn about that a little bit later. Just for part 1 today, you will be introduced to the members of the solar system first. Okay, let's go step by step. Okay, so Mercury is a planet, the nearest planet to the sun. Okay, let's look here for a while. State the sequence of the planets in the solar system starting from the sun. So I would put here number 1, okay, because Mercury is the first planet from the sun. Okay, so if Mercury is number 1, which planet is number 2? The second nearest planet to the sun. Let's look here. Yep, it's Venus. Okay, Venus is the second planet nearest to the sun. Okay, and the third one is the Earth. Yes, the Earth. This is the Earth, the planet where we live on. Okay, so the Earth is the third planet, and the fourth planet is called the Mars. Okay, Mars. And then the fifth one here is the Jupiter. And then, oh, do you notice that Jupiter is really big? Yes, Jupiter is actually the biggest planet in the solar system. So which one is the smallest? Yep, Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. Okay, main planet. We also have dwarf planet, but we are not going to focus on that. So we are just focusing on the main planets. Okay, so Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. Okay, so the fifth planet is Jupiter, and the sixth one is, if you look carefully, it's Saturn here. Yep, Saturn. Saturn is special because it has beautiful rings here. Okay, these are actually more than one ring. Okay, and then the seventh planet would be Uranus, and the last planet, the last main planet, is Neptune. Okay, all right. So do you notice between Mars and Jupiter, okay, between Mars and Jupiter here, these specks, these bits of things here, these are actually asteroid, and also there are meteoroid. So what are asteroids? Asteroids here are actually rocks that surrounds the sun. Okay, asteroids are not planets because, like I've mentioned before, planets are supposed to be round, and asteroids are not round, and they actually don't have proper orbits. Okay, we'll learn about that. So that's another term that you will later learn, orbits. So just chill, relax. We'll go one by one. Okay, so asteroid, and if you look at the shape here, it is not the same from one to another, just like rocks that we usually find here on Earth. Okay, asteroids, and here meteoroid. Meteoroids are actually smaller pieces of rock in outer space. Okay, collisions between asteroids produce smaller pieces of rock in outer space known as meteoroids. So actually, meteoroids are smaller pieces of asteroids. Okay, so if you see here, there are a lot of asteroids and meteoroids here, and this part here between Mars and Jupiter, we call this space here, this part here, as asteroid belt. BELT, yeah, the belt, like one we wear around our waist. So this is just like it. Okay, asteroid belt. And then we also have comet. See here, this shiny thing here, this is a comet. So what's the difference between asteroid, meteoroid, and comet? If you see comets, this particular comet are not in the asteroid belt area, right? So comets are actually ice. Okay, ice. So when we see, if we get to see comets, we can actually see a trail of light that comes with the comet here, because it's actually ice. Okay, so now you know that the difference between comets and asteroid is that comets are made of ice, whereas asteroids are actually rocks. Okay, all right. Here, the moon. Hey, wait, the moon is also round, but isn't the moon a planet too? Well, no, the moon is not a planet. Okay, let's read up. Natural objects revolving around a planet are known as natural satellites. The moon is a natural satellite of the Earth. I'm sure you have heard of this term satellites, right? So, the moon is actually a natural satellite. It is not man-made. It is natural. That means God made it. So, the moon is not a planet because the moon actually revolves around the Earth. So, whatever object that revolves around a planet, we call it natural satellites. Okay? So, for Earth, we only have one natural satellite, which we call it the moon. Other planets, for example, Jupiter, Saturn, they also have their own natural satellites, but more than one. They have many natural satellites, or we can say they have many moons on other planets. Can you imagine? We are accustomed to our beautiful moon, the white moon that we see almost every night. Sometimes yellowish or orangish or sometimes reddish, but there's only one moon that we know. But can you imagine on other planets, some other planets, they have more than one moon, and some of the moons are of different colors. Wow, can you imagine that? So again, I hope you can remember the moon or natural satellites are objects that revolves around a planet. Okay? So that means it follows the planet and it just go round and round a planet. Whereas a planet is actually revolving around the sun. So now, do you notice the difference? Okay, natural satellite revolves around the planet, whereas a planet revolves around the sun. Okay, Yay! I hope you get it all. You have got it. So remember, we really need to remember, and actually you need to memorize the names of the planets in sequence. That means you need to know that the first one is Mercury, and then Venus, and then Earth, and then Mars. So the fifth one is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, I really hope you will take your time and memorize, because with that knowledge it will go a long way. Okay, because you will learn more and more about the solar system, and if you have memorized the names of the planets in sequence, it will help you a lot, okay, in later subtopics. All right, let's look down here, the smaller notes here. The illustration of the solar system is not to scale. That means this is not a real picture, it's just an illustration. And what it means that it is not to scale, it means that the sizes are not actually in appropriation to each other. Okay, that means maybe in real life the sun should be bigger and compared to Mercury or something like that. Okay, and maybe it is the orbits here. Okay, the lines here are called orbits. They are actually imaginary lines. Oh, okay, we'll get to that later. Okay, so maybe the orbits are supposed to be bigger than this. Okay, so it is, this illustration is not made to scale. Okay, other notes here. Pluto, down here, can you see Pluto? Have you heard of Pluto? Pluto was once classified as the 9th planet of the solar system. It was classified as a dwarf planet in 2006. So actually these 8 planets are not the only planets in the solar system actually, okay, but we only need to know these 8. There are actually other planets, we call them the dwarf planets, okay, smaller planets. So don't worry about them, we just need to remember these 8 planets from Mercury right until Neptune. Okay, if you want to know more, well, I'm not stopping you, nobody's stopping you. You can learn about dwarf planets if you like. You can just search it in the internet, okay, and you can surf here solarsystem.nasa.gov/planets. Okay, just search it. Okay, one thing I want you to know, I want you to not to get confused, is what you are looking at here. These members of the solar system, they are actually moving consistently. Okay, all of the members of the solar system are moving except for the sun. The sun does not move, it just stays there at the center. So all the other members of the solar system are on a constant move. They are actually moving around the sun, revolving around the sun non-stop from the day they were created by God right until the end of time. Okay, so these are actually moving, and if you see here, for example, Mercury and Venus, Mercury is here, Venus is here. Well, it is not like that all the time. Sometimes maybe Mercury will be nearer to Venus. Okay, it is not aligned this way. No, it is not. It is on constant move, and the speed maybe is different. Okay, this is just an illustration to show you what it looks like if we, for example, if we can take a photograph like, okay, at this moment, at this particular moment, the positions are like this, but in real life actually they are moving constantly and it can be anywhere. Okay, and another thing is, I want you to know that the sun is actually a star. Yes, the sun is actually a star. What is the definition of a star? A star is an object in space that gives out light and also heat. So, if you see planets and natural satellites and asteroids and meteoroids and comets, they don't give out light, okay, but stars do. Okay, so the sun is actually the nearest star to us. Okay, and the rest of the stars, the millions of other stars that we can see at night in space, can you imagine, like, imagine each star is just like the sun. So if the sun has its own system, there are members of the system. That means there are other objects that revolves around the sun as a star. Can you imagine each and every star in space? They have their own systems. Maybe this star, they have planets revolving around it. This one. So each and every star, they might have their own system. They might have their planets that surrounds them. And this is just to show you how vast, how really, really huge the space is. It's like, whoa, it's like we are really so tiny. And if we compare Earth to Jupiter, for example, Jupiter is so much bigger, it's larger, but this solar system is only one system in the whole universe. Okay, imagine we can see hundreds, thousands, millions of stars at night, and just imagine each one of those stars, they have their own system. So, whoa, like, just whoa. So if you're like me, that is why I really love this topic, because it makes us human beings feel really tiny, really small compared to the greatness of God's power. Okay, so we must really be thankful for being born, being here on earth, and we need to realize that God's power is beyond our imagination. All right, so we're done. We're done for today, and on the next 2 pages are actually activities that can be done. Okay, if you really like this topic like I do, I think that you would love to do these 2 activities. Okay, the first one is making your own solar system using balloons. Okay, so you can try this out. Okay, this is a really good activity for you to try. And the next one is interactive card. This is using pop-up. Yes, I love pop-ups too, so you can try this as well. Okay everyone, so that is all for today. We shall continue with part 2 later. So goodbye.